I've got a couple of coats of gesso, white gesso, on a wooden board, and that's because I want the final painting to be very vibrant. So I don't want any of the colours dulled down by using a grey or a black gesso. The gesso is really to give the surface a good tooth, a good surface for the paint to grip onto. I'm going to start off just by very roughly drawing in a horizon, a little bit of cliff coming here. This is a walk that I do sometimes in a place called Bream in North Somerset on the coast, and it's really lovely. And I'm going to have some rocks here. Now look, this is really, really rough, isn't it? But we've sort of got the rule of thirds going on for the composition, so my horizon's sort of 2/3 of the way up. I've got an area here that's going to make an interesting shape. In fact, that's what I'm really doing, is I'm drawing in shapes. This is the sea, this is the tide, the waves, if you like, and this is a little bit of rock and stuff going on here. And that's really how I tend to work, very, very simply. I don't spend a lot of time with the initial drawings because I know that they're just going to disappear. So let's get started. I'm going to use quite a big brush, and I'm going to start painting in the sky. Now, what have I got on my palette? Titanium white. I'm using titanium white because I want that brightness, and if I use zinc white it tends to I might introduce zinc white later, but it tends to it's called a mixing white, so it retains the original colour better but lightens the paints. This is a cerulean blue, this is a turquoise, cadmium yellow medium, yellow ochre. My go-to mixer colour is raw umber. I'll explain that in a minute. Then I've got ultramarine blue, which I love, and Prussian blue, which I don't particularly like, but I want the darkness, and I sometimes introduce black into colours, but I prefer what happens when you introduce raw umber. Oops. So get my handy piece of tissue. Right, okay, let's get going. I'm going to start with the sky, and I just want to get some blue into the sky because it's actually quite a nice day today, and so I'm feeling that I want to get a bit of blue into the sky. Not too much, and I'm just really, really being just putting patches in, really. That's it. I like a little bit of, that's a lot, isn't it? That ultramarine blue does it tints quite strongly. A little bit of grey. Now I'm going to use up all that white, so already my palette's looking a bit kind of crazy. And I'm just going to use some of that up to get some clouds in. Now I need some more titanium white, so let's just get some. I use a mixture of all sorts of brands, but there are some that I like and some colours in some brands that I don't like, but I always use heavy bodied because you can always thin heavy bodied paint, but you can't, you can put a thickener into thin, but I just think it's easier. I'm going to go with a smaller brush. I've actually lost one of my brushes that I use quite a lot, which is very annoying. So I'm using a little bit of this brown because that makes quite a lovely soft grey, and I want to, again, I'm using the brush quite near the end. That needs to be a bit darker. Darker still. Let's try a bit of that. And I don't like that because it's got a lot of green in it. Darker still. Whoops, that's going to be really dark. Well, let's see what happens. Now we've got a lot of. I'm going to come in with a palette knife and get some of these Whoops, clouds. Oh, that was lovely. And you know what I always say, make a mark and leave it. And look, I made a beautiful mark and I whooshed over it. So these are clouds going over the top. So I'm gonna leave it like that actually, just for now. And I'm going to introduce some, let's see what we're going to do here. I'm not sure. I want some, so this is raw umber with Prussian blue, which makes, if you mix it together, can you see that? That makes a really sort of gorgeous dark turquoise. How does that happen? Who knows, but it's wonderful. I'm going to have some land over here. And then I want some land there. I'm going to paint something in here for now, just to remind myself that, gosh, I love that colour. What I'm doing down here. I don't want these two things to look too similar. And right away I'm feeling there should be some water surrounding that. Okay. And then I'm going to go back in here. I've got a bit of that lovely turquoise on my palette knife. I'm going to leave it there and just swoosh that around to get the feeling of waves breaking. I love using a palette knife for this. And then, do you know, I'm sort of right in it now. I'm going to get some, okay, a nice little tip here is if you add a little bit of yellow ochre to a turquoise, which is far too bright, certainly for the sea colour in mostly, sometimes you get it in this country, you get this beautiful sort of greeny blue, and that can go darker with a bit of Prussian blue, so we can go darker up here. And I'm keeping all of this, you know, quite separate. Adding some cerulean blue just to get some different colours in. And I'm going to sweep that in here. Get some. You do get quite a grey blue in winter around the sea. Depends where you are. On the west coast around Cornwall way, it's often, you know, a very beautiful turquoise blue if the sun's shining through it. Now that's, I'm quite liking the way all this is sort of drifting, completely unintentional, and I like bits of white showing through because you would get that. This is going superbly well. I'm going to ruin it, I know I am. No, be positive, be positive. Let's have some sand. Now, so in this I've got yellow ochre. Did I put a tiny bit of that turquoise in? And then I'm just going to paint in some sand. Because everybody loves a bit of sand. I'm liking the colour palette here, and a lot of the reason why it's working together is because I've added this raw umber, which really unites everything. That's going to be too bright. Put that in. Oh gosh, I don't know what I'm doing here. Right, come on, concentrate. Concentrate. That's gone a bit too. Is that okay? So that was a much nicer one. That's a little bit too green. I don't think. No, I don't like that. So let's clean off my knife. Get some. I'm running out of space, I can tell. Okay, that's better. That's closer. I prefer that. I mean, sand is different. Let's face it. All across the beach, it varies, doesn't it? So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But these funny little marks that have come in, I'm happy with those. I'm happy with those. I'm going to use up some of this actually for a bit of something going on up there. And I want to have a really nice greeny colour going on here. Gosh, you know, for a really quick sketch of a seaside scene, I'm really loving it. It's fun. It's coming together really quickly. That doesn't happen very often. Yeah. I'm liking what's going on. Let's get some of that. Just want to. What's I going to do with that? I have no idea. Yeah. Yep. Just getting the excess off there. I love the way that's gone like that. I'm not sure I can. Do you know, I'm going to leave this now. I'm going to leave this and come back to it. I've got a funny little mark there, which I'm going to get rid of, and a funny little mark there. But I really like the looseness of this. I like, you know, the way it's sort of come together. So, I mean, I love it when things come together really quickly. You know, people say, well, it takes you no time at all to paint this, but I've been painting for years, so it's about it's the experience, you know. So, wow, that was so much fun. I don't know if it's finished, but I'm going to leave it to dry. I mean, there's that weird bit here, but maybe I'll just, you know, I might just leave that. Hardly any. You see my raw umber. What a wonderful colour that is to use. Hardly ever use it by itself. It's always. I think maybe I need a bit more of the dark. I do need some more of it though. It's just so wonderful. You can harmonise your colours, and the reason you can harmonise your colours using a brown is because it's got every colour in it. Going to use more. And that's kind of like rocks that you might see. Yeah, gosh, yeah, I'm going to leave it because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to fiddle, and the spontaneity and the freshness of it is going to disappear. So there you go, painting a seascape. The tips I have: keep your colour palette simple, work quickly, don't overthink it, make your mark and leave it, and try and get those tonal values in. And by those I mean the lights, the darks. So if we're to photograph this now and make it black and white, we'll see the differences in tonal values, and those are, if you can push that into your painting, that's what makes a difference with a successful painting. So I've got some darks here, a darker blue, so the rocks are dark, that area of land is dark, this is more of a mid-tone, these are lighter tones. So let's have a look at that and see how that looks in black and white. Yeah, I think that works. We've got good differences in tonal value, but isn't it interesting how that yellow bit of landscape is the same tonal value as the beach and the sky? But it's punchy, and I think it works. So let's look at it in colour again. Yeah, the beach at Bream. So if you like this video, do let me know in the comments, and if you're a subscriber, thanks very much. If not, do subscribe to see more of these videos. Thanks for watching.